Hey, good evening and welcome to the Up Zone, where understanding politics is made simple. We are your two hosts, Mr. Elmer Floyd, former House Representative for the 43rd District in the state of North Carolina, current candidate for the 42nd District in the state of North Carolina, and myself, Tisha S. Waddell, former City Council Representative for the 3rd District in the city of Fayetteville, and current owner of a business, mother, wife, and friend, and just all around relaxed individual now that I'm not in politics anymore.
Mm.
Oh, Mr. Floyd, how are you this evening?
I am great. Busy, busy, busy with this
I can imagine.
and running to 5 early voting sites every day.
Yeah, well,
So,
let's talk about it. What's going on? What are you seeing out there at these polls?
well, Tisha, I tell you, I'm in the race with a snail, and that snail is whooping me half to death.
I'd say you probably whooping the snail because snails can't move, but you saying that the snail is beating these people that's coming out to vote?
They beating them. I mean, the voter turnout is really not that great. That's why I use that
Mm-hmm.
ideology to express the voter turnout, and just by talking with people and they responding to you. I don't vote. I don't want to vote. It don't make any difference,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of a lot of the centers, parents pick their kids up, after
Right.
work, and they are not even interested in participating in the political process.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really frustrating. And if you if you get a chance to and go by the poll and just look and see who is on the outside campaigning for the Democrat Party. Just look,
Okay.
and what you will see at the early voting sites are all African American. Well, 99.910%. Well, you know,
Mhm, mhm.
African American preparing the Democrat agenda for November.
Okay,
As an example, unless my vision is failing me, I did not see a Josh Stein sign out.
okay.
Did not see one, but I did see a Morgan sign.
Mhm.
And the other confusion is the some people did not understand that there's two Mark Robertson, and they was arguing about they got the wrong ballot. Yeah,
Okay,
because you had
okay.
one
Yeah,
Democrat.
because that can be very confusing when you see somebody's name and it's not in the place that you think it's supposed to be.
So it was confusing to some voters because
Mhm.
I got a Republican ballot here with you know and but it's the minority Democrats that are really preparing the agenda for the November election. And what
Mhm,
my
mhm.
party must got to start realizing is that they got to motivate the individuals to get out and vote. And a
Right.
minimum, I had one teach that said that the reason why I'm not going to vote is what they did to you. You know,
Mhm,
they said I just lost interest.
mhm.
Because you brought revenue to the county and they ousted you, and they couldn't pronounce Kurt name. And that other
Yeah,
guy, and
yeah, yeah.
the other guy, they did the same thing. You know,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, I've been hearing from a lot of people, Mr. Floyd, that they're disillusioned with the political process. And I've shared many times on this very platform that I don't think that it's real. I don't think it's real anymore. I think that it is all rigged. I think that it is rigged in favor of the people who agree to push whoever holds the power, whoever agrees to push their platform, they get the backing. And there's that rare moment when you see somebody, and I'll use myself as an example. There's that rare moment when you see somebody make it into the political arena who was not backed and who was not supported and who was not, who really was green and coming in, untouched essentially. But 95% of the time, or probably 98 or 99% of the time, the political process is tainted by agenda and is not necessarily the agenda of the people, it's the agenda of the people who are in power. And so I think, a lot of us are are beyond thinking that there's something that our vote does to move
Well,
this needle.
you're right, and many people think, well, as the candidate, the full, the three candidates plus yourself, which make four.
Hmm.
People don't realize that you need experience, in certain, positions. That's number one.
Hmm.
And and my party has what we call primary for Democrats, and they
Hmm.
perceive that it's sort of, that they don't see that as damaging the party itself. But you
Hmm.
primary them, and then you want them to come back and join the party in November.
Hmm.
They should stay out of primarying a person.
And I'll
But
be honest, Mr. Floyd, when I saw, and not just at a local level, but when I would see these cutthroat, like I remember when Hillary Clinton and former President Obama went head to head. And I remember how voraciously they spoke negatively about one another and lifted themselves up. But then, as soon as Hillary Clinton was no longer in consideration after the primary, it was a different tone, and they were kumbaya, and they were, and that to me, because see, I'm a human being, and I know that if you have this perception of somebody, that is, if that's your truth, you don't then turn around and you're buddy buddy with them. And then when I saw it, so I knew, I said, there's more to this than meets the eye. Like these people, it's all a game for them. Then I saw it happen at a local level. I saw, you know, and I won't talk about the race, but I saw where two people were running against each other and it got really nasty. And then when one person didn't make it, then you saw that person, and the response is always that you get is, we're coming together for the purpose of the party, for the sake of the party. But the truth is that does more damage than good, because we're looking at you sideways now and we can't really trust you. Because if you said you don't believe that this person is fit for this job, now all of a sudden, because you don't qualify, now they're fit and you'll endorse them and you'll
well,
you'll stand with them, and that just doesn't, that dog don't hunt.
that's Campbell, Tish. That is posture. That's all that is. It's Campbell. But
Right,
don't
but
forget,
it
we're
also
talking about
is,
the
it
candidate.
also takes it takes a person like me who is analytical and who's reasonable minded. You always use that term. It
Yeah.
takes a person like me who's reasonable minded, who says, "Okay, this is a mess," and it turns us off from this process.
Well, again, that's the candidate saying that. But
But they're doing it because the party encourages them to do it. They
that's
would not do that if they didn't think that there was some political gain in them doing that. Because I'm gonna tell
the
you, when we
candidate.
see it,
But
but
listen to
it's
what I'm
the
saying, though.
party
That's the
pushing it.
candidate saying that. That's the candidate saying that. But don't forget, the candidate has volunteers and paid staff that are assisting them. And so it has an adverse effect too on those volunteers and staff that may stay away from the poll, in the November election because
Yeah, because
they can't do what.
if you have me working a poll, and you've told me you're better than this person, and this is why you don't think this person should do this job, and then you're knocked out of the primary, and so now it's general election time, and now you come back and I hear you endorsing this person. I'd rather if you just went home and you stayed quiet and then come back to fight again another day. You don't have to come back and say, we ran a good race and now try to kumbaya, because that's not reality. That's
I know,
fake.
but it just for public appearance.
But it
That's
looks
why
bad. And that's
it
why
looks
the
bad.
party sucks now, because it looks bad. And y'all don't recognize that. Not you, Floyd, but there might be a politician that's watching this. Y'all don't recognize that looks bad to us, because the party has them convinced that it's a good look for you to now come out and endorse the person. Like
That's
it's,
why we have teach. That's why last year I think when the young lady that ran for the U.S. Congress,
mm-hmm,
they anticipate a greater minority
turnout.
voter turnout. And then what
Mm-hmm.
they said, the minority voter turnout was lower. That's why she didn't win. So what they're saying to all is that we got to have the minority voter turnout if we are to prevail. So
But
when
we're
you,
just, I guess the minorities are just not as stupid as these parties think we are, though.
well, teach now, you know, in Cumberland County, what the party have said, and, and and please don't let Larry, you, you know, get upset with me, but
Larry done went
they're
upstairs,
saying,
Floyd. He ain't paying us no mind.
well, Larry, well, see, I don't want Larry to think that, ill feel, but what the party think that you are not intellectually capable of
uh,
electing a person of your
right,
choice. Okay, now
right.
that's what they. So what they do in Cumberland County, they pick the candidates that they want, and the beauty of it is we follow that, and we come out
It's a
on
mess.
the short end. We
Just a mess.
literally we come out on the short end. But I hope that this time that the residents of Cumberland County will come to its senses and say, no, we are going to elect whichever candidate is our choice. We are tired of you picking for us. Now, once they pick that person, but bear this in mind, Teach, if that person steps out of line, they're gonna primary that person the next election cycle. And what
Absolutely.
happens? Cumberland County get further behind,
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Just a mess, Mr. Floyd. It's just a mess. But
well,
while we're talking about the black community, let's talk a little bit about Black History Month. What's going on right now in the community for Black History Month?
well,
I know you keep up with the current events.
I have, I have, but I've been spending more time this year at the poll because of the election. It's election
Mm-hmm.
time, and there's a lot of events that are taking place in the community, and I don't want to misdate these events are there,
Right.
but we have a lot. We have we made strides in favor? Yes, we have, but we're still making strides at that snail pace.
Right.
And so, we're recognizing our youth, our future leaders for tomorrow. And the other thing that's not Black history, but it's part. Just last week, I think it was around the 14th sometime, the Human Relations Commission gave out recognition for various awards there. And I was somewhat, I think it's probably about the 55th or something, a program that lasts a half century that I
Mm-hmm.
started as the human
Wow.
relations director. Now it's a century plus, and it's still going on. And the
Yeah.
scholarships that they give out is still going on. So I was just so impressed
Mr.
when
Floyd, you dating yourself, you know.
say what?
You dating yourself, you know. You telling your age.
It's okay. If you don't toot your own horn, no one else is going to do it for
And
you.
I, listen, that's the truth, and that's the truth. But I tell you what, what I'm learning, Mr. Floyd, is
Mm,
people that know you and what you did that you'll never know who they are, and
yeah.
that's the beauty, I guess, of um, a job well done. Is that there are people who know exactly what you've done, they understand your impact, and you'll never know who they are. And
True.
for most of us, it won't be until we are laying in that box and people are walking around looking in at us that our loved ones even know that we was on somebody's radar, because people won't tell you what they know about you.
Mm-mm.
They won't tell you. Now, I did run into somebody today, and I thought it tickled me a little bit because introductions were being made, and they said, "It's nice to meet you in person." And I caught that in
Yeah.
person.
Mm.
I said, "Girl, we met before." She said, "I seen you a lot on." I said, "Where?" She said, "On social media." I did like this, oh girl, because in my mind, social media is not real. So it's funny when people recognize you, but it is real. It's a tangible
Mhm.
thing because people get to see you, they get to hear you, they get to, if you're being transparent on social media, they get to see how you think and what you like to talk about. So that was kind of funny to me. But Floyd, there's people that know you that you don't even, and they know what you're doing and you don't even know it.
Well, that's true. I was at a poll, Tish, and a person came out, and to show you just like what you just mentioned, the person came out and said, there's a person that walk in your neighborhood and say you don't even speak. I've been in my neighborhood for 50 years, and there's only two people that walk in my neighborhood, and we talk all the time.
All the time.
And I say, you know, this is a long day at the poll. I just don't have time to respond to that today.
Yeah, some look, every battle is not worth fighting.
It's just the statements that people make about individuals, and then another thing related to African American is that they don't give us credit. You know, they
Right.
would say, "Well, Keith Swadia didn't do nothing." I mean, she's a black female, but
Yeah.
no, whatever didn't, you know, but it's the one Teach, it's the one that don't do nothing is the one that do the biggest complaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't give a contribution, don't vote, don't attend nothing. You don't see them at community activities, and you don't see them nowhere. But
Yeah.
they are the one that constantly feed negative.
Yeah.
But it's all
Sometimes we just gotta let it go, like the little song said.
yeah,
So Mr. Floyd, these hotel occupancy taxes, they're still a conversation in Cumberland County.
yeah.
Tell our audience about these hotel occupant. This has been a conversation since I got elected and probably before that. But
Mhm.
let's talk about these hotel occupancy
Well,
taxes.
there are taxes levies on if you stay overnight at one of the
Hmm.
lodges, and that money, I forgot what percentage that is. I think it's 3.5.
Yeah, I want to say it's like 4% or less. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the county collects that money and use that money for various things. Okay,
Right.
but and that is about to expire, but they may need to renew that to help cover the expenses of the new
Of that
citizen.
conviction. And that renewal takes place at the state legislatures
Yes,
level,
yes,
right? It does not
yes.
take place at the county level.
They can
And
what they would do will request that the members of the
right.
delegation
And I
submit
think
their
that the
own proposal.
delegation would be wise. The delegation would be, excuse me, Mr. Floyd, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go down. You
Okay,
see
the
the delegation?
delegation, appreciate you. The delegation would be wise to consider the fact that these municipalities, see, this is an opportunity for negotiation.
Hmm.
At the level of the municipalities and with the county because the county needs that money because
Yeah.
they have the food and beverage tax and the hotel occupancy tax, all of these different taxes generate revenue for the county,
Yes.
and they do need those dollars. I think where the city often messed up at is their inability to negotiate with the county, and to negotiate effectively. They've been out negotiated by the county at every turn. And so when you see this coming up about the hotel occupancy tax, this is another instance where I believe that will be the case because I believe that the county is leveraging some relationships with their delegation up in Raleigh. And I believe that they're going to ice these municipalities right on out of these talks.
Well,
I would I would think they wouldn't be able to get away with that though. But I venture to see based upon past performance that they very well could.
whether you like it or not, they're going to be one person that is going to carry. If it's carried, it's going to be one representative that's going to carry this. Okay.
You think that that would be Val Applewhite?
Pardon me.
Do you think that would be Val Applewhite, or you think
One
it would be Diane
representative.
Wheatley?
It's going to be Diane Wheatley. That's
Okay.
going to
Well,
carry.
Diane is the only person currently who has the juice to be able to get it done.
That is correct. Now
But
it
when you look at
depends.
the board, Floyd, that board it leans very Democrat right now. Diane Wheatley is a Republican. So do you think she's going to support a request by a Democrat board?
Well, she may, but you have to look at what's in the county, and most
Mm-hmm.
of the way her district is drawn, it's Republican leaning. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so she's going to listen very closely as an example, what the city of Hope Mills
Absolutely.
say as it relates
Absolutely.
to.
What they say, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely. What they're saying out in Linden.
yes,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
she's going to listen very careful at the mayor associations. Association that meet.
Mhm.
And if the mayor association meet and express to her that they want a percentage of this because we are providing the services its services need to be done. So we need
Right.
to recoup that because the county have already taken these taxes away from us. So we need to recoup some while we
Right.
provide the services, and the county is just collecting the revenue. So it's going to be, even with that, Tish, it's also going to be that this one would sunset. The other one does not sunset, definitely, because they
Hmm.
can continue to nickel and dime and put a door, string door, a window,
Right.
or a door
Right.
stop, and it lives on. But this
Hmm.
one was sunset. So it would behoove the county board of commission, to look at how they want to advance that. It's not guaranteed because
Hmm.
she is the one. Even if she pushes it, and you have some members that have some concerns about how the revenue is being dispersed and who gets all of it, it may not
Hmm.
move. It may not move.
Hmm.
So
Floyd, I don't know if you saw this in your camera, but somebody just walked behind you. Is somebody supposed to be out there?
I hope not. I
I'm
hope
pretty sure I saw a human being walk behind you behind them blinds. So you make sure you keep your ears open.
yeah. So,
Speaking of which, listen, we have this our home makes a lot of noises when people come and go in and out of our house. And we
mhm.
heard an unfamiliar noise, and I told Larry, I said, you might need to call in the cavalry because I think somebody is coming in that back door. My daughter never comes in the back door. She comes bopping in the back door. I said, girl, you was about to get it. He was like, "Well, look, we paying attention these days because this world is
Mhm,
rough." But Floyd, when you talk about that hotel occupancy,
mhm,
tax credit or those taxes, that plays into the development and the building of the new Crown Event Center.
mhm.
So, do you think that if that structure does change, do you think that the county is prepared to respond to that in terms of how they will fund that event center?
Well, they will have to. I mean, because right now they're looking at hypothetically, 100% of it, and I think
Yeah,
that
but you're
therefore,
looking at delays now, and you're looking at an increase in the price. So, do you think that that's why they're pushing so hard to keep that price down where they want it, just in case this structure changes?
well, you're gonna have, we talked about this before. They're gonna have cost overrun. It doesn't make any difference when they start.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be anywhere between a 5 to 15% cost overrun. Now, at the same time, the county is looking at. We talked about this, building a parking deck, for that convention center, and
Hmm.
also they're talking about building a.
Which is kind of crazy because there's a whole parking deck downtown that, if I'm not mistaken, two of them that are never at capacity in terms of being full. So now it's going to be three parking decks
Yes,
downtown that are never full. But go ahead, Floyd.
but you got to look at how are these three projects are going to be funded. You talk about a high
Absolutely.
school, which you indicated that you're going to look at $66 million from the education lottery fund to help pay for that. I'm gonna say the cost now is 159 million. That's one. Then you're talking about a parking deck with 31 million. So if you add that, we talk about 190 million. Then you're talking
Mhm,
about a convention center, which is 143 million. So
mhm,
you had to look at how much would the local government association would allow the county to have debt.
mhm,
So and also they're gonna want to know how are you going to pay this debt.
mhm.
So the county, whether you like it or not, Tish, need all the money they can get based on growth to,
Well,
I
Mr.
mean, to
Floyd,
do these projects.
if they send you back to Raleigh, is this something that you would be amenable to, is extending that agreement with the county, or do you think that those dollars should go to the municipality?
Well, I think that some of that money should go to the municipality because they provide the services if there is an
Because the
emergency need to
hotels
be
are
done.
in these municipalities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they need to get something to cover. I mean, their service costs. I mean, you just can't send 3 fire trucks, you know, and operate them free. I mean,
Right.
you got to get you should be able to recoup some cost for the service that you provide. So I think
Absolutely.
it would behoove the local government association, the mayor association, to start now, communicating that to the county, that if you are going to look at that, we also going to meet with the delegation to see if we cannot get a portion of that. And a wise member of the delegation, will look at that and say, well, it's something to really think about, because those people vote.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Let me say this, Mr. Floyd. And it's a completely separate topic, but I did want to take a moment. I meant to do this during our announcements. I want to congratulate our former producer of this program, Vic Frost, because
mhm,
he has moved into a new space. It is beautiful. Absolutely. I walked into the space and I said, "This is what I was talking about when I said this is what you need." And
mhm,
he just kind of smiled. He's building a team, Mr. Floyd, that I think any business would be proud to work with to
mhm,
develop their content. So I want to congratulate him on his move. I want to congratulate Deep Freeze Productions on the branching out of their team. And Floyd, look, I told him, I said, this is the kind of, you putting together the kind of quality that we might be able to work together again. I'm excited about what I see him doing. And I just wanted to make sure that we took a moment and just congratulated him for that. I know that sometimes when people see you doing something different and they know what you used to be doing, they often think that it's some drama or some bad blood. But I assure you that is not the case when it comes to why we made this shift. We shifted because we just needed to shift. It was in our best interest at that time to do so, and it worked out for us. We have never taken away from the fact that the quality of the product that Deep Freeze Production delivers is top tier, which is why when we did our
um,
candidates forum, yep,
yeah,
that's
that's what
why
we
we
do.
went right on. That's right.
That's what, because of the production,
That's right.
and
That's right.
the relationship was there, for us. And so he did not shove. He just said, "Come on, I want you to
Come
come."
on. That's right.
And that's good.
That's right. And so, I will always, when I see people that are doing, and I like quality business, Floyd.
Hmm.
A lot of people say I support black owned. I tried that once where I was gonna be like, I'm a pick black owned, and I got so screwed in that. I think above all, I want to support a person that's doing good business, just good business. And so when I see somebody doing good business, I don't mind shouting them out. And we are not being paid for this. This is not a paid advertisement, but I do want anybody who is in the market to do some podcast work or to work on the business of your business. I want you to, consider going over and checking Vic Frost out over on Westlake. That's where they are now, 231 Westlake.
Okay.
Um, and Mr. Floyd, you make sure you go on by there and you see that new studio. I think you're going to be very impressed.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, the last thing I want us to talk about this evening, and we touched on it a little bit when we talked about these. Look, we do these night programs; they go quick, Floyd. But the last thing I want us to touch on this evening is this election cycle, because I think it is important for us to sort of double back around to that. You made a very valid point that the voter turnout is very low,
Yes.
and that from your point of view, it feels like a snail's pace.
Hmm.
We already touched on why we think that is. But before we get out of here, Floyd, I want you to talk about what you are experiencing besides just not seeing Caucasian candidates campaigning at our poll sites, our traditionally black poll sites, like one would think, leading one to believe that they may just be taking the black vote for granted. What else are you seeing out there? Is it a peaceful environment at the polls? Is it
It's,
very catty at the polls?
yeah. I
How are
mean,
the workers? Like, what's going on?
it's not as hostile as it has been in the past as it relates to workers. Now, now, we're sort of in a cow pen. We're sort of roped around about where you can go, what you can do, what
Okay.
you can't say. As an example, but what I would like to see done is that the chief poll worker or chief whatever it is at the poll have on some identifiable color, because
Mhm.
everyone walks out. I'm overstating now. Uh, every so often and change the rules that we had, change the rule what is given at 9 o'clock. Okay.
Right.
Another person
And
come
y'all
out at
just
10
want some
o'clock.
continuity out there.
Yeah. I mean, they change the rules. Another one come at 11 o'clock. They change the rule. And then again, it's not the workers themselves, it's the employees that the Board of Election has employed, the way that they somewhat think that we are uneducated. So they want to
Yeah.
yell at the people that working at the poll, now, but for us, the poll workers, it is beautiful, but they get sometimes frustrated with this one comes out and say something and this one come out. Now we can't get the count at the end of the day to find out what it is. You can't ask for that. Okay. You
Why
can't,
not? You used to be able to ask for that all day long.
but they don't, you can't get it. If you are backing out of your car and you notice in the parking lot, you're gonna have to back up most of the time, 2 or 3 times to make your turn to go out. See,
Mm-hmm.
we can't help you, so we can't yell at you and say, "Hey, Tish, you're about to hit somebody." We can't direct traffic. We can't assist. You know,
Okay.
so it's a little bit frustrating. But the poll workers, they are beautiful. They sharing
Floyd, is
lunch.
Jackie out there working this year?
With that.
The big Jackie.
Yeah, I mean,
That
well, yes and no, and no and yes.
okay.
He is working for
For
one of
Mike.
the candidates that's running in 42. But it's
Yeah.
just one thing that's amazing, Tish.
What's
It's
that?
amazing when you see elected officials and people that ran for office come to the poll and they want to work for a particular candidate. When they see you, they sort of exit
Yeah.
as if you are surprised, you
That
know,
to see them.
to
Yeah.
see. I mean, we've been in politics for a long time, and we can read the tea leaves. As
Mm-hmm.
an example, we had one, and that was part of the redrawing of District 42.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I saw this person, and I know based on my experience that this person had more to do with it than what they say that they had.
Mm-hmm.
But they stayed there about 4 minutes to 5 minutes because Courtney was there, and Courtney turned around, and Courtney was shocked. I said, "You don't have no reason to be shocked." I mean, she was real shocked to see this person at the poll, and then we
Yeah.
went to the poll.
When we wrap up, will you tell me who the person was?
you know,
Because I
but
want to
it
know. I
hurt.
have a
It
good
hurt
idea.
Courtney. It hurt.
Oh,
It
okay,
hurt Courtney.
then I
Yeah,
know
it hurt
exactly
her
who it
because
was.
she
Okay.
she was surprised. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, uh, uh, I would none of this surprises me, given
Yeah,
the
because Mr.
environment.
Floyd, we listen, because Mr. Floyd, we know, like, listen, what they say, politics makes strange
It
bedfellows.
makes strange bit partner when you look at who is requesting this change, and Raleigh is requesting this change as it relates to
Mm-hmm.
District 42, because
Mm-hmm.
again, you don't have the intellectual capability of electing a person. So we would
Mm-hmm.
draw a district, we will send somebody down there to explain to us that they did not draw the district for a particular person,
Right.
but later you come back and endorse that person now. So Raleigh just think that you don't have no sense. You're not smart.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's better than it has been. But as we close out, I just wish more so than anything is that the Cumberland County people would say to Raleigh, and I had an ad, is that, let us pick our own person. We don't, because if you pick that person for us, we are going to lose, T. We are going to
Mm-hmm.
lose because if that person make a mistake, it gonna push us another 6 to 10 years behind, and that's what's going to happen. And I wish so much
Absolutely.
again that we we say to Raleigh that we are capable of selecting the person of our choice, whoever that person may be, not you telling us who you want.
Right. Well, I hope that people at least know that it's an election cycle so that if they want to vote, they can. Because
Well,
I'm concerned that there are a lot of people who probably don't even know that it's time to do that.
that is true, teacher. And another thing, the Board of Election sent those little white cards, yellow cards, whatever you want to call them,
Mm-hmm.
and it tells you
We don't
it
pay that
shared with you.
attention to it.
Not know
Most people don't pay that any mind.
what is true, T. But what happened? Many people come to the poll and they upset because they don't see Mary Jane name, on the ballot. But when they walk in the poll and give their name as Sally Sally and give Sally Sally address, that's the ballot that is going to be pulled up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ballot. And, and
Mm-hmm.
and they get all upset and
And if they
leave. And
watched our podcast, they'd know that they've been redistricted.
yeah, I mean, but they don't realize that too. I mean, this gerrymandering district of 42 caused 9 precincts to be shuffled. At least
Mr. Floyd,
nine precincts.
do you realize, does it ever cross your mind that whoever the victor is in this primary for District 42 is inevitably going to win this election? So after March, there may not be so much of a need to aggressively campaign because it's a Democrat district, um, it's a minority district, and the other only person who will be on the ballot will be a Caucasian Republican.
Now, there's the libertarian also.
But has he secured the he's also a Caucasian.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know,
And did he
but
secure the number of signatures that he needed on his
now this is
petition?
yeah, that
No,
part is right.
that's the unaffiliated. That's the independent.
Yeah, okay. So, but the key thing of it is, T, you got to turn out.
Yeah. But
Now,
and that's why I say that. That's why I say that because this is a low turnout and the winner of this primary election will very likely go on to be the
now,
House representative for seat 42.
you may, yes, and it also may be a second primary in which I fought the whole time I was in Raleigh based upon Mickey Michelle some 30, 40 years ago, is that, for instance, if you have 4 persons in that race, normally as an
Mhm.
African American, you know, like with Mickey Michelle, 2, 3, and 4 will consolidate to run against one.
Mhm.
Okay. One was the leading, but 2, 3, and 4 came in that way. They endorsed the person that was number 2. So
Mhm.
in this race, within 6 to 7 weeks after this, if the person doesn't secure 30 plus, then there will be a runoff.
Mhm.
So that too
Yeah.
is going to
We'll
be,
see what happens. We'll see
yeah.
what happens because I'm telling you, I just keep sitting over here thinking, I wonder what the division of the black vote is going to do to this election in District 42. I just
Well,
wonder the fact that we have three strong names that
mhm.
are all black candidates, one of which is a female. And I've said this before. What is that going to do to the concentration or the dilution of the concentration of the black vote? And how does that help or
That's
hinder
just
any of
one
the
part.
four candidates on the Democrat ticket?
That's one. But the greater part is the African American turnout.
The
Okay.
turnout, absolutely.
Totally the turnout across the election. This is just one. And the African
Absolutely.
American, they're saying you can't count on me like you have in the past. So
Right.
this is just one, but you're talking about statewide, when we got people, we got some that's running for the state treasurer, and all the other Supreme Court justice, lieutenant governor, you know, all of these races are critical. And
But
so
politicians are going to have to take an introspective look and see, because you said something, and I like what you just said. You said that the black voter has said essentially to the politician, you can't count on me anymore. And I think that that is in response to what the black voter believes and feels at this point, which is I can't count on you, so you can't count on me. And I
well, that
think that that is. That is the message that I hope that the political powers that be pay attention to, because until my community, and when I say my community, I mean Black, educated, involved voters, until we feel like we are, and not even feel like, because this is not an emotional thing, until we begin to see that the people that we are taking our time to go and cast our ballot for, that when they get into these seats, they are actually going to work for our community. Until we see that, we ain't got nothing for them. And I'm gonna use this as an example, Floyd, because we forgot to
Mm.
touch on this. The neighborhoods that are continuing to pursue a ruling against the city of Fayetteville for their dams. Now, this is like three or four different neighborhoods: Loch Lomond, Aaron Lakes. Um, it's a few neighborhoods. They've been going through litigation against the city of Fayetteville, suing the city of Fayetteville for the saying that the city had easements on these lakes, so they need to repair the dams that were breached in 2016 during the hurricane. They have lost their first round. They went back for an appeal. I believe this is the appeal process, or this might be the second appeal. I'm not sure, but this I think is the appeal process. They are still fighting this. First of all, we know legal battles are not cheap, Floyd. But these are people who probably feel like what we're talking about. Why should I vote for you? I voted and I'm still not getting any assistance in my community. My dollars are still not coming back to take care of the things that I deem important. And even if they're wrong for their reasoning, this is how they feel now. This is what their experience is.
Well, Tisha, it goes back with representation, and
Mm-hmm.
I say this all the time. You know, I'm I'm not running for a statewide office. I'm not running for that. I'm not. Just like on the ballot now, you have county commissioner two, district two. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
those are the person that's running. Okay, so you have to look at the person that you have elected to represent you during these difficult times, and he or she must be the one that speak out in your behalf,
And when
to
they
make sure,
don't,
you know, that's what you elect them to. They
yeah.
are to assist you and prevent and negotiate outcome and resources.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. Don't get me wrong. Now, yes, you address the city or the county as a whole, but your first obligation is to that constituent. And
Mm-hmm.
how you do that, Tisha, is very
And I'm gonna
simple.
tell you, go ahead.
It's very simple. Tisha, if you want an apple, okay, then I help you get this apple, okay. But over here, I want a dam, okay. Now, where do we start negotiating?
And Floyd, this is my thing. I want an investigation. I've wanted an investigation since I resigned and laid out my allegations. I want an investigation. So, as a voter, for me, when I'm
Mhm.
looking at the ballot, anybody who I know had the power to be able to move forward an investigation and did not support it does
Mhm.
not have my support. Because why should I support you when you cannot support what is important to me? Why should I give you a chance to stay in a position to screw we the people? And I think that that's how many of our community feel.
Teach, don't be upset. Teach, I'm just saying to you again. People think that we are not capable, Teach, of thinking and
Thinking for
responding.
ourselves.
That's why they always provide someone to do that for you.
Absolutely.
So that
Absolutely. And we are going to just have to do better. Floyd, what's your closing words for our audience today?
March 5th is the last day, it's the election day. March 2nd, the polls closes at 3 o'clock. And on March 5th, you must go to your polling site in order to vote if you don't vote during the early election. In District 43, 42 of the candidates that's running, I am the most experienced and know how to navigate the halls of the General Assembly. And I may seek employment with Amazon because I will deliver.
I think you can have the final words today. That's the gritty in the city and the word on the curb. Jesus loves you, and so do I. Even if I don't like you, I love you. And even if you don't like me, I hope you love me too. Because at the end of the day, we are commanded that above all things, we are to love one another. So you have a fantastic evening, Mr. Floyd. That's the gritty in the city and the word on the curb. I'm gonna call you in 2 minutes so I can find out who showed up at the polls. And y'all listen, y'all don't do
Surprise,
nothing. You ain't
surprise, surprise.
surprise, surprise. Y'all
Yeah.
don't do nothing you ain't got no business doing because it will come back and haunt you. What's done in the dark comes to light. Y'all take it easy. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, share, subscribe, and follow, and we'll catch you next week.